I just had the game of Rocket League ruined for me. I'm still gonna play this game, but I just came across something that I had heard about, but never really come up against or faced myself. I just played against a bot in my ranked lobby. In 1v1s, I'm currently Diamond 2, Div 3 at just under 900 MMR, 899. And I just played a bot in my last 1v1 game. How do I know it was a bot? I mean, it's still just a suspicion, but it's a pretty strong one at that. Oh my gosh. That was a sick carry. Most Rocket League bots, they have perfect foundational things, but when it comes to complex things like going for aerials and stuff like that, and calculating moves when there is an opponent real close to you or things like that, they tend to struggle. And so I just played against a bot who, every time I'd like mess up an attack, as one commonly does, or at least at my level, it would perfectly drive the ball into the net. Now, if I had footage, I'd be talking over the footage of our game just now, but I don't. So I kind of just have to describe it to you, and y'all kind of have to take my word for it, which I know. You have no idea who I am, but this issue has been going on for a while now. Like I said, I'd never run into this kind of issue, but only now that I've experienced it myself do I realize the problem. It drove the ball into my net perfectly every time. I could not fake it, like I couldn't fake challenge. These kinds of things, those two alone are things that I discovered when I played against Nexto. Some of you may have seen my Nexto video where I played against the bot Nexto. Very eye-opening. Definitely scary, but I didn't then realize what it actually meant. If it was a real person that played like that bot did, I would not have lost that game, not like, by no stretch of the imagination. Because someone who had movements like that, the bot, it looked like it had like silver or gold player movements. Like the car control wasn't like it couldn't just do this, you know what I'm saying? It couldn't just load up a training map like this, like neon rings or whatever. Hold on. It couldn't do this. Like, this is way too much for a bot to handle. It did not know what I was doing in air. And the only way I scored on it was when I use air roll techniques and aerial stuff. I had a really sick ground to air dribble. That'll be tomorrow's YouTube short, but that's beside the point. Bot can't do all this. And the bot that I just went against couldn't do this either. The name of the bot was Major Tom, and it drove a really strange merc. Like, no self-respecting player would ever drive the thing. But yeah, once I lost the game in overtime. Once I saw the defeat screen, the bot just sat there, and I was just like, I just was left with a feeling of confusion. I didn't know what to think. Because it's kind of deeper with me, because when I was growing up, I never had tons of time to just sit around and play through a campaign, so I would never buy games like that. Like, only now am I playing through the Halo series. So I never had time for single player games, so I played games like Minecraft and Fortnite and now Rocket League, games that I can spend hours and hours and hours of replayability for relatively cheap instead of spending $60, $70 on a AAA title that I'll play for maybe 20 hours and never touch it again. And the whole allure of Rocket League to me was that there's no AI to play against. I'm playing against real people, and if I beat them, I'm better than they are, at least in that given moment. And it was that competition that was fun, but after playing against the bot like that, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, this is a problem. Like, all that thrill of competition is gone. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Computers have been way better at us with chess for years now. Back in the late 90s, IBM created Watson and beat the world chess master at the time, Garry Kasparov. And everyone was very much confused because it was, how could a computer built by people beat the world chess master when the people themselves that built it could not beat the world chess master? And people were very much confused by it. And it's very sad that same kind of concept is coming into Rocket League now. When I first saw videos that other content creators had made on Nexto, like Cbel and Sunless and stuff, I was like, this is super exciting because we can use this. We can use this to train against a perfect enemy and get better. And use that, train with that at that highest level. And then take the skills we get better at in training and use those in a real game. But playing against it in a real game, it's not fun. There's no joy in defeat, and there's no camaraderie in loss. It's empty. And I think that is kind of a larger thing about the whole AI revolution in general. Even though it's not really a true AI, but that's nuance there. But, I mean, it's really cool what it can do, but I think the larger issue at hand is that Epic needs to find a way to keep bots like this out of ranked. I reported the bot, but there's not really much I can do I just put it as cheating and XP farming. There's not really any way we can describe what happened. We just hope that someone reviews that game and sees kind of what happens and comes to the same conclusion that I did. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say. It's just, I'll still play the game. Of course, it's very fun. Love this game. I have the most hours in it by far. Ah, crap. But I don't have very high hopes for the future, if I'm starting to experience that. At my rank, Diamond 2-ish in 1v1. Oh, I'm flying. I mostly play against C2s and higher. C2s, C3s, GC1s, and the occasional GC2. And so playing against an opponent like that is very much out of the ordinary. And I don't know. Epic needs to find a way to handle this, otherwise the problem is just going to get worse and worse. And yeah, it's just going to get worse and worse, and people aren't going to play. It's going to take people away from the game. What's the point? If I want to go and play against a computer, I can go and fire up RLBot right now and know that I'm playing against a soulless enemy. But when I expect that enemy to be a real person, and all of a sudden it's not, there's no competition in it. There's no, it's kind of weird. There's probably a study on this somewhere, but there's probably a psychological connection between you and the opponent. There's a level of humanity there. We both know that we're just sitting behind our computer screens, controller in hand. Since we're on the same server, it's dark outside by now. It's midnight, just after, at the time of recording. There's a kind of humanity in that, knowing that we're both just playing, fighting to get the ball into the goal. Same thing as like real soccer players. But not anymore. And I don't know what to think. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, guys.